heard a couple of people try to use the Liberia backdoor. They try to use Liberia as a backdoor to finesse themselves into our lineage. They'll say, well, Liberians were, you know, it was initially started by FBAs, and they went over there to Liberia in the 1800s. And you got people over there in Liberia saying, well, yeah, now, my family, they come from an FBA background, so uh, I should be able to get reparations too. See, that's kind of the back door they think they're going to go in. It don't work like that. Let me explain how this thing works. There is a difference between genetics and lineage. All right? We're making things lineage based, not genetic based. There is a big difference. See, genetics, that's about shared traits. All right? Lineage that's about shared experiences and legal inheritance. See, having similar DNA, that doesn't mean that you have the same historical journey. See, lineage, that refers to direct uh, ancestors and an ancestral line that connects a person to specific events, struggles, entitlements, things like slavery, Jim Crow, redlining. So, lineage is a more direct connection. Lineage is documented and traceable. Genetics, that's broad and non-specific. Like, for example, we have African genetics. Yeah, we never deny that. Yeah, we got African genetics, but it's so damn vague. And people start trying to make up stuff. Well, y'all, everybody, you niggas are from Nigeria. No, Nigeria didn't exist 400 years ago. We're not sure what part of West Africa our genetics came from. It's so vague. And you do a DNA test, they got our genetics all over Africa. I got genetics in Mozambique and just all over the place. Then some in Europe, then a little trace over there in Asia, then some traces here with some Native American tribes. So our stuff is all over the place. So genetics don't really determine anything like that. You know, genetic, that's good for finding out if you the daddy of some hood rat's kid, Yeah, that's what DNA is really, really good for. Yeah. But lineage is documented and traceable, you see. That connects you to an identifiable ancestor who lived through a specific national history. So, like a person from Liberia, they might share some genetic ancestry with foundational Black Americans, but their family tree does not really trace back consecutively. So that you're going to be ineligible for reparations. See, reparations is lineage based. It's not based on DNA similarity. Like, look, again, I got alleged Nigerian DNA, genetics. I can't get shit out of no Nigeria. I can't go over there talking about, hey, let me in. Get out of here, nigga. We can't get nothing over there. You understand? That's how that works. See? Yeah, people always talking about all of this genetic we have here in West Africa and East Africa and all that. We can't get shit over there. We can't even get citizenship because we don't have a lineage with them. We have genetics, but not a lineage. Same thing going the opposite way. A person from Liberia, they might have some FBA genetics, but you don't have the lineage. You see? See, lineage, that connects you to political claims. Genetics, that connects you to like biological clusters. So lineage gives you a legal and a moral claim to compensation. That's why Native American tribes, they don't go by DNA. Native American tribes, they don't really go by DNA. They go by lineage. They go by the paperwork. See, lineage, that involves cultural, legal, geographic continuity. See, there has to be a continuity there. See, genetics don't do that. So a Liberian with some FBA genetics, but they grew up under a different government, a different culture, and a different legal system. See, that's different. You weren't classified as Negro in the United States. You weren't subjected to Jim Crow, redlining, COINTELPRO. So you got a whole different experience. You see, genetic similarities, that's common, but lineage is very exclusive. Lineage is because white people got African DNA. Yeah, you got white people who got some traces of Nigeria, or whatever, or the area that became Nigeria. That don't mean anything. You see, the reparations that's owed to a specific group, not everybody with distant DNA ties. You see, and people trying to claim FBA reparations based on genetics. That's just like some of them white supremacists trying to claim Native American land rights just because some DNA markers might hit here or there. You see, and here's the thing. Listen, if you have to immigrate here, you are not FBA. We could just make it real simple. If you had to immigrate to the United States, you are not a foundational Black American because that means there was not any continuity culturally there. So if you went to Liberia or your family went to Liberia in the 1800s and stayed there for over a century, whatever, you had an ethnogenesis over there. And then in turn, you had to come over here, but you had to go through an immigration process. You were not FBA. You had an ethnogenesis, just like with us. They say we came from West Africa. Well, then we don't get nothing from West Africa. We had an ethnogenesis. So we got to all put all of that in perspective.